Hi everyone. So I wanted to take a moment to go through the syllabus. Sorry. Hi everyone. So I wanted to take a moment to introduce y'all a little bit to the course. My goals are to go through the syllabus, show y'all around eCampus, and show you around McGraw-Hill resources and the other resources you have available. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off with the syllabus, and you'll see it's a pretty standard syllabus. If you have Miss Opal as your lab instructor, there's also going to be contact information for Miss Opal here. Um, See standard basic information. Um, I'm going to go down to things that are relevant specifically. I think that are a little bit maybe not necessarily more important, but more day-to-day relevant for y'all. If you are part of the Include Ed program, which was just a raise in your tuition to cover your textbooks, we actually negotiated that the textbooks y'all get, you'll get more than you would if you paid for this individually on your own. So the lecture textbook is Anatomy and Physiology by McKinley, and that's available through eCampus. After you make the initial connection between eCampus and that course, I do recommend that you bookmark connect.mheducation.com. And that's because this is going to be a way to bypass Blackboard. So whenever Blackboard is sometimes down, which happens a lot more frequently than I would like, this will get you directly to your assignments, your exams, your quizzes, your textbook, without having to worry about eCampus and Blackboard. The lab manual is also available in eCampus, and I'll show you all how to get to that. There are the supplies that you'll need really are just whatever you would normally use for a course, maybe notebook paper, etc., etc. Um, the graded work, we're going to have lecture assignments, and these are going to be worth 100 points. There's going to be a lot of assignments through McGraw-Hill. There's going to be a few assignments that I've made specifically for y'all based off of stuff that I find interesting. You're going to have lecture quizzes, 6 of them at 10 points, 1 for each unit. Your lowest grade can be dropped. Lecture exams is the same. There will be 1 for each unit. Your lowest can be dropped. There's going to be a semester project, and that's going to be, I typically deploy that after drop date, and so it gives y'all about a month to finish it, 3 weeks or so to finish it. And that's so that way students that uh, are maybe considering dropping and not participating too much won't will be able to not worry about the assignment. And other students can all just dedicate their time in getting that done. There will be lab assignments. The points are going to vary for this. There's some that are worth 2, 3 points. Some are worth 10 points. It's going to be different until we get to a total of 110 points. And so I'll be posting these as we go through. We're going to have a new lab book this semester than we have in previous semesters. And so there's going to be different assignments that I'm going to be making and giving for y'all. There are going to be lab reviews. These are going to be 10 points each. And these are going to be surveys of the previous labs or the lab material that's going to be on that practical to get you prepared for the practicals, which will take 4 at 50 points with your lowest one dropped. In order to get an A, you need more than 900 points. A B, you need between 8 and 900 points. A C is between 7 and 800, etc. If any evidence of plagiarism or copying from the internet is observed, that assignment's going to get a 0. So I'm going to give you an example. If I'm grading your short answer questions on the exam, and you have you're responding to one of my questions, and you've got 5 sentences, and let's say that first or second sentence is word for word off of the internet, uh, and maybe the rest of it resembles that source on the internet, but not word for word. But that one sentence that was word for word is going to be a cue to me. And even if the whole thing is just very, very similar to an internet source or even another student's answer, I'm going to, that's going to raise a red flag, and that's going to tell me that you've used an external source to work on the assignments, or I mean, not the assignments, to work on the exam, and that exam is going to get a 0 because I don't know if you've pulled up, uh, you know, or searched every single one of those multiple choice questions to try to get answers while you're going through. I don't know if that's what you've done or not, because the only evidence I see is that sentence that's the same or very, very, very similar. And so this is to be fair to all students, so that way everybody who's getting a grade is going to be um, compared against each other, and that grade is going to reflect their their performance in this course. There are little descriptions here of the assignments below that, and so you can go through and you can look at these assignments. There's no attendance, obviously, because it's an online course. I don't like to require students to do things on specific days, but I am going to have things like exams on specific days. And so make sure that you're pacing yourself to get ready for that exam. You don't want to get behind in anatomy and physiology because a lot of that content builds on itself, and if you get behind, it could mean that you end up having to just kind of like not do well for the rest of the semester. So make sure you're keeping up. There's a link to institutional policies here, and this is going to tell you information about the campus. And then here's our course schedule. So this is listed by weeks. And so this is what we're going to be doing each week of the course. And this is just broad topics and the chapters of the book that we need to go through, and major assignments like exams and practicals. For specific weekly dates or due dates, you're going to need to go to eCampus. And so I'll show you all how to access all of that now. So in eCampus, whenever you first go in, it's going to show you the announcements. And so you'll find that I post things here that are relevant for you. I do recommend that if you haven't yet, you complete this office hours survey. Whenever you do this, that's going to allow me or inform me about what office hours I should make. These will be posted next week. I do recommend that you use the Remind app to communicate with me. The Remind app is essentially just text messages. And so you can text message me questions or whatnot, and I can reply. It's a lot faster than email and easier than email. I also posted something in here. A lot of times students ask me, like, where are lecture assignments? And so this is going to give you some of the main things that students ask me questions about, and you can be able to find those by going to those locations. I'm going to show you all real quick how to get to some of this stuff now. So up here at the top, there's this link that says Learning Materials. If you open this, that middle one is the lab book. And so whenever you click on that, it's going to take you through a few steps, but it'll bring you to this lab book. And so I've already opened it up to the endocrine system. You can obviously zoom in and out to be able to view the lab book, a whole page, whatnot. You can add bookmarks. You can go through. It's going to have questions, and these questions are going to be very similar to my lab questions that I put in eCampus or in Mcgraw-Hill, sorry. And there's pictures, models, etc. For y'all to observe. Over here on the side, there are a lot of tools that you can use in the textbook. I haven't gotten a chance to play with them yet, so I can't inform you. But I've noticed the table of contents. And so here in the table of contents, you go directly to the topic that we're covering in the chapter. So that's that lab book for you. My practicals, and so if you're in Miss Opal's class, I don't know if our practicals are going to end up being the same or not, but if you're in 52-331, my practicals are going to be based off of the lab book and the lab assignments and lab handouts that I give you. So you will have all of the information needed to study for a practical and prepare for those practicals. There's just some basic tools here, announcements I've shown y'all, instructor and advisor. So if you click on this button, it'll bring you to information about me. This is where I'm going to post office hours, and it also gives me a little bit of information, or you a little bit of information about me. My response time during the week is going to be 1 business day. And so this means if you write me an email Friday after 5 o'clock, I might not be able to get to it until Monday morning. I am very aware that on exam weeks and stuff like that, I'm going to be getting a lot of emails on Friday nights. And so I'm going to be aware of that, and I'm going to be more responsive then. But I'm going to try harder this semester to make sure that I give my family some time. And don't just dedicate. So my wife, I was actually telling her, I think I'm gonna be a little bit better about it this semester, and she said you should tell your students that you're not going to answer emails during dinner. And so I I really try my hardest to respond to students quickly, but this semester I'm going to try to make sure I am a little bit more uh, aware of my surroundings whenever I'm replying to these emails, and I might wait until a little bit more convenient times during the weekend or hold it until the following week. Email my instructor. This is a link to be able to email me. Syllabus and reference material is a useful folder. Here's where you can download the course syllabus, and here's also a calendar. And so whenever you click on items in this calendar, this is going to show you the things that are due on that day. And so you can go through and you'll be able to answer those. It also gives you topics for the quiz and topics for the exams, and so you're going to be able to follow along with this. I do recommend that you follow this calendar well. You can print it. I believe if you click one of these buttons down here, it takes you to the calendar in the web browser, and somewhere in here you're going to be able to import it into your own calendar on your phone or your tablet. And so it's a very useful tool to make sure that you're staying up to date and on target. There's also some information down here, the same institutional policies, information for the testing center, which we're not going to use. If you're ever on campus, there's the El Centro Campus Police Dispatch. Below this, I'm going to skip the McGraw-Hill stuff. I'll end in that. But below that, you'll find assignments, and here's where you're going to find lecture assignments posted. And so they're all in here. These 6 are in here right now. There's going to be more posted in here later as I create them. So there's about 4 assignments that I'm needing to make, and just that's because they don't copy over whenever I do a course copy. So I'm going to put those in here, and y'all have those. The first one's not going to come up until the next unit, so you still got some time to worry about that. And I'll make an announcement to let you know whenever that comes in. Below that are the lecture materials. So in here, it's going to tell you what topics are on in each exams. There's some chapter outlines, which is a PowerPoint. And then in here, there is the lecture videos. So you can go through and you can look and watch those lectures. I sometimes like to give some that are videos from another person or another source that work very well and I think are very good summaries. That's what this one is. And then the rest are me going through the actual lectures themselves. See, and that's posted for all of the different topics that we cover. Under that is lab materials, and so in here it's going to give you, there's a link to the book. It tells you what topics are on each of the practicals, and there's some lab study guides and lab presentations for you to be able to use and study with. At the very bottom are the lab assignments. If you click this, it takes you to these assignments for you to go ahead and work on. Then the rest of that's kind of self-explanatory stuff. And so now I want to go to the Mcgraw-Hill stuff. So whenever you click on the Mcgraw-Hill link, it's going to give you the option to go to My Connect section. You're going to want to do that, and it'll take you to this page. So you'll see it has your assignments and lab assignments in here. And so you can come directly to here and you can work on them. Another folder is going to pop up for quizzes, and another folder will pop up for exams whenever we get to those. So they don't appear until something's released or deployed in there. So this is where you'll find them. If you want to rent a hard copy of the book, you can do so by clicking this link. If you want to buy a loose leaf version, you can do so by clicking this link. If you want to read the Smart Book, and if you click on the Smart Book, it's not going to let me view it because I'm in student view, and it's just going to keep loading or doing, well, it might work, I don't know, shoot. But anyway, you can click on a chapter, and then as you read it, it'll eventually start asking you questions about what you've read. And so like if you've been flipping through the endocrine chapter, but maybe you're not really reading, you're just clicking the button, it eventually is going to say, hey, do you know what you're reading? And it'll ask you some questions. Some students have really liked those questions in the past because those questions are similar to exam style questions. And so it's a useful tool to have available to you. So that's the Smart Book. If you wanted to just view a regular book, I will show you that in just a moment. So if you wanted to view it without it asking you the questions, you can click on this one down here that just says ebook. And to view an atlas, if you click on this button, it'll open up a practice atlas. And in the practice atlas, it'll show you pictures of models, and it'll show you, and this is just like the little intro tutorial, but it'll show you things, and if you click on the model or on the structures, it'll highlight them for you. Same thing up here, so it highlights the specific parts, and so it helps you out. And then there's also practice sections in there where you can bring the titles of those structures and then check your answer and see how you did. So that's all available for you in that one practice atlas. Below that, there's a dissection and some additional stuff down here for you to use. This link is going to take you to the McGraw-Hill Read Anywhere app. This app allows you to download chapters of the book. So you can go to McDonald's, use their Wi-Fi, download several chapters of the book, and then that way you don't have to use your Wi-Fi when you want to read, or use your internet whenever you want to read at another time. So let's see, I think that's just about it that I have to show you. What I do recommend that you do is start working on the assignments and start going through those lectures. Treat it like you were coming to my class and start working through those lectures. You would come to my class, I would welcome you, and then we'd start going into content and you'd take notes, do something like that. The lectures, I don't like to put questions on exams if I haven't discussed them in a lecture video. And so those are really good resources to know what I'm going to focus in on for the lecture exams. So I look forward to getting to know you all better this semester, and with that, y'all have a good day.